Oh, sorry, August 1st. I believe that's at 6 PM at Lake Papiani. And then the other event is August 26th, the House Music Festival, again at Lake Papiani, starting at 12 PM. At this time, I would like to move to the approval of minutes. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
This is just a question here.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Councilman Patil?
A, B, and C, we are in the month of July. Is there any reason that these meeting minutes from January coming in July for approval?
Oh, January, I missed. That's why. They weren't approved yet. They were done, but they weren't approved. so
Okay.
that's what I-
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Seconded.
Just for record purposes, I believe Councilman Brescher, you had to abstain?
On March 23rd.
Okay, so Councilman Brescher abstained from March 23rd. All,
Councilman Patil is 424, and Councilman Patel is 58, because they checked the records.
Yeah.
So I'll record it.
Yep.
Okay?
thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the approval of volunteer firefighters. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Before we get to the public hearing on the municipal and solid waste budget, we have to go through amendments that were put forth for there. So first is a resolution to amend the 2023 municipal budget. Can I get a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Motion by Council Vice President Harris, second by Councilman Patel. At this time, I'll open up for any council comments. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
No.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmembership Freeman.
No.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. The next item is the resolution to amend the 2023 solid waste budget. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Coyle, second by Council Vice President Harris. Any council comments? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmembership Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. At this time, I'd like to open up to the public on item C, public hearing and final adoption of the municipal budget. Anyone from the public that would like to speak on the municipal budget? Just, yes.
My name's Dan Boslett. I live at 5B Center Street.
Thank you, sir. You're recognized.
I've been here my entire life. I was born in JFK Hospital, left for a few years for college, and I've been here. I've played sports in just about every arena that we have here and arenas around the Middlesex County area and outside Middlesex County area. For years, we have been deficient in our facilities. We were blessed with a turf field that's just about finished. It's going to help us a lot. We also need this facility that I know is going to cost the town quite a bit of money, but I think the investment in our youth is more important than what those dollars and cents stand for. The facility will allow us to train when the weather's no good. It gives our cheerleaders somewhere to cheer that they've never had. And it's disgraceful that we've never given them somewhere to cheer. Every year they scramble to find somewhere to cheer. And our wrestlers are in the same situation. We have a very long, good tradition of football, cheerleaders, baseball, wrestlers that come out of this town, but it starts when they're kids. It doesn't start when they get to high school. It doesn't start when they're juniors or seniors in high school. It starts when they're little guys like this, and that's where it starts. We desperately need these facilities. Please, don't deny this budget. Support our children, because they really are very, very important. It keeps them off the streets. It gives them something to look forward to, but they need the area and the facility to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else that would like to speak on the budget? Sir?
Good evening, everyone. Bruce Seitz, 88 Parkgate Drive. I'm been chairman of the Edison Cable Committee for 5 years now, probably the only active member. I will talk later, but I just want to ask a question on the budget. I've gone through this, and if I'm missing something, I can find if there's any appropriation in here for broadband. I do see there is a $236,000 revenue franchise fee that we get in from Optimum. I also have been kept in the dark regarding Comcast proposal, and I'll cut it short if I could speak later. My major question on the whole thing, and I've spoken to a number of the council people privately on this, is why are we moving ahead with this without any proof that a broadband has been successful in any...
Council President, the speaker is out of order.
There's actually a capital line item in regards to municipal broadband, so I do find that you are within the confines of the budget.
Okay, I don't see it in here. Could you...
There's a line item, I believe, under the capital improvements for $1 million.
Correct.
And how much is that amount?
1 million. I
So-
also believe the 2 million grant that we received as part of this.
Yes,
Yeah, but I...
it will be at the next meeting, the capital bond
Part,
ordinance.
as part of the,
Right.
Okay, I don't know if now is the appropriate time or later because this is comments on a budget, but I'd like to know what the budget is. I heard from the consultant's report, which was 6 months late, that it was talking to get started at $3 million. And again, why would we spend money when there is no proof shown? They haven't done their homework in terms of showing where it has been successful, okay? I'm a marketing executive. We test market products to see if they're successful before they go into the general market, and millions of dollars are spent to introduce a product. Additionally, I have a whole list of questions here, which I speak better from the cuff, so I'll save this for later. But again, why can't they show proof? I've spoken to other attorney friends of mine in other towns, and as far as I know, that there are only 2 cities in New Jersey, Patterson and either Camden or Trenton, where they have municipal broadband, and it only works at the municipal building. And the complaints have gone down dramatically over the years 2 and 3 of COVID, with everybody at home and everybody on 2 or 3 computers, and husbands and wives and the kids at home. And the complaints have gone down like 95%. We used to get, I'd get calls from mayor's office. We set up with Joyce and, I'm sorry, with Marilyn Davis, and we get responses in 24 hours. Recently, 2 medical groups on May Street had problems. They there the next day fixed it. There were too many doctors on too many computers and websites. And before we go ahead and spend any more money on it, we should really look if there are any success stories. And also, with Comcast coming in, which I have not seen a proposal either, you're going to have Comcast and you're going to have Optimum. They're going to be more competitive. They have the resources, the technology, the people, and everything. So why we want to start putting a lot of money into a new department with broadband and starting from scratch if everything's out there already and it's going to be more competitive. I mean, I've got commitments from Optimum. They spent money on the schools. They opened up the new store on Route 1 and Wick Plaza, so people don't have to run to Piscataway. Anyone I've spoken to, I've told them, and this has also been publicized, that if somebody has a problem, they call up Resolutions, and people are getting their bills reduced by $30, $40, or they're getting some additional free services. And also, the speeds are much better now that less people are on, that COVID has ended. So again, what is in the budget, all right? And maybe we should keep this as a contingency because Optimum and Comcast can do it, and we don't have to go into this whole new venue.
Speaker has 1 moment. 1 minute.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Council President?
Yes, Councilman, well, in regards to comments, if it's okay to,
Yes, you're right. I'm sorry.
we'll have a
We'll wait.
comment opportunity from the council side. Anyone else from the public that would like to speak on the municipal budget? Seeing none, can I get a motion to close the public portion on the municipal budget?
Motion to close.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Coyle, second by Council Vice President Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The public portion is now closed. At this time, move for a motion on the municipal budget.
Can motion approve?
Do I get to comment on the, okay.
Motion by Councilman Coyle,
Second.
second by Council Vice President Harris. Any council comments? Councilman Patel?
Yes.
Thank you.
I actually wanted to ask the speaker's name and title because I missed it. I'm sorry.
Bruce Ice, Asphalt.
Can I spell it for me?
I said at the beginning, Bruce Sites, 88 Parkgate Drive.
And what's your title? I missed it. I'm sorry completely. What's your title?
I'm
You said you were you're part of the.
I've been chairman of the Cable Committee for the past 5 years.
Committee. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Now, the comment I had was, for the title you have, Chairman of Cable Committee, I feel like you have not done your homework because a lot of these documents are public, and we have a discussion on this, and I feel like you're asking for more information, and we can give it to you, but I feel like it's a homework on your end part, especially for the title that you're using. And it feels like you have a lot more authority on this, but I feel like you need to do more homework. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. One of the reasons why I feel the established players in the game, like Cablevision, Verizon, they're all investing in their infrastructure, is they know they will recoup the cost that they're putting in. They will use their profits for their shareholders, and rightfully so. They took the risk, and they deserve the reward. I want us to take this risk because I do believe the reward is worth pursuing. This has the potential to become the second highest source of revenue for the township after us taxpayers. We can use those profits that would have gone to the other people for us, our community. We can also use that money for building more community-oriented places, which you can look it up on Wikipedia, Third Space. It's a really interesting article there. But to your point, it is a risk. I'm not gonna lie. However, getting $2 million from the state alleviates some of my concerns. They believe in this project. They are giving us 2/3 of the money. We need to secure the future. There are many technologies coming. Satellite, 5G, I just hear about the infrared internet standards that were just released. However, none of those can replace a hardline connection. And the established players know that, and that is why they're investing. It's a very simple logic. Growing up, internet was an opt-in experience. You had to choose to get online. I don't believe any of us have an option not to get online. So it is the future, and we should invest in it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other council comments? Oh, sorry, on the municipal budget.
Yes.
Councilman Brescher.
Yes, there were many issues, I guess, I had with the budget. But willing to work, with the administration. You have to give a little. But what I seen was, I didn't see the administration give anything back to the public. Okay, so we overbilled for our police department, like I said before. The police department spent $22 million last year. It's true that they would need an increase, but if they only spent 22 million and the raises were 3%, why are we making it 25 million? Okay? And then what was brought up was we were going to hire more police officers. There is nobody that is more a fan of that. I think very few council people have kept track of the administration and how many police officers we actually have on the road. And what I seen was I see a lot of break-ins up at the north side, catalytic converters and Clara Barton. We have a lot of crime that's happening in our town, okay? But we don't have a fully staffed police department. In the presentation, we got that we were going to hire additional police officers and bring them up to 201. Now that on the surface sounds like that's a good thing, but then I looked and I didn't notice patrolmen. I noticed that there are more sergeants, lieutenants, and captains. So what I'm looking for is, they always say, boots on the ground. So that was just one item. And then we had the Latchkey program, of which was allocated, that brings in about $1.5 million every year for, I don't know how many years, but the administration's only showing $1 million. So they're going to allow that additional $500,000. It goes into this reserve fund. You know, it's like we're building up a kitty. And municipal government's not supposed to build up a kitty, right? We're supposed to do things for the residents, make the town better. And, you know, at that point, I was still kind of okay with the budget, to be quite honest with you. But the mayor and the administration did give us a budget with everything that they needed. And then we got an additional $1.4 million from the state. And that money isn't going back to the taxpayers. They're keeping that additional $1.4 million. And then I found out that the mayor gave his budget presentation here, and that budget presentation is not online. So you, the public, don't get to see the questions that we asked. And why is that? Because, again, we're building up this kitty. And what are we doing building up a kitty? You're not supposed to build up a kitty. This municipal government, right? We're supposed to take care of the residents, our roads, our streets, make sure your garbage is picked up, make sure our youth have fields that they can play on. That's what our job is. Our job's not to build up a kitty. So because of those reasons alone, specifically the last one about the $1.4 million, I don't feel comfortable in voting for this budget. I don't believe it's a good budget. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Councilman, sorry,
Let's go ahead.
Councilman Patil.
Mr. President, I have a few questions, and if I get those questions right, I don't mind supporting the budget. But before I start my question, I heard from the audience about supporting the stadium. And in my last 8 years of experience, I don't think any councilman here has rejected or voted no for any capital improvement budget. And if you look at the current budget, in fact, our debt service for the capital improvement has gone down from 12 million to 9 million. So that's not something shouldn't be concerning to you because it's already baked into the budget. And we are saving, in fact, $3 million just on that. And that's where I'm going to ask some of those questions to Ken, if you don't mind.
By all
Sure.
means.
Absolutely. So my first question is our tax rate for 2022. What was our tax rate?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question, Councilman?
Our 2022, what was our municipal tax rate? I just want to get my numbers correct.
Let me just pull that up.
Sure.
The 2022 municipal tax rate was 1.402.
Perfect. So we are increasing it to 1.441.
Correct.
That's correct, okay. That's close to 39/10%.
Correct.
What was in the estimation, what was the school tax rate in 2022?
We're pulling that up as we speak.
No worries. Take your time. I want to make it clear that even if it's a 0.7%, 0.007, it's roughly $700,000. So even not a cent, I'm talking about 0.1%. And that's the reason I want to understand what was the school tax rate for 2022. While you pull that, what is the school tax rate for 2023 that is considered for your tax estimate? So you can pull both the numbers.
I think I have it, but I want to make sure if it's equal to the amount that's in that estimated tax bill program or spreadsheet that we received. I believe 2022, and while they confirm was 3.197 for the district school, 3.185 for 2023.
Okay, so, but in our estimated, we counted 3.184. So that is 1.3 cent. So again, there is a somewhere disconnect there in estimated tax bill. The school tax rate for 2023, the real number versus what is counted there. Because what I understand it is 3.184, because the school tax rate dropped from 3.197 to 3.184 from 22 to 23, which is
In 22, the school tax rate was 3.197
correct. And it is dropped for 2023 to 3.184.
to 3.191.
That's not correct. As per my knowledge, if I look at the school budget, I don't think that's correct. And that makes a huge difference in a $1.5 million difference in the budget.
I'm not certain where you're getting the 3.184, Councilman.
I looked at the school budget.
Okay, so we got these numbers from the school district.
Is that the approved budget that you looked at?
Yes.
Okay. Again, I'm going to put this on a record. If that's the case, then the school tax rate was dropped to 7.10 cent, which is $700,000.
It has decreased by 0.19, correct?
Correct, right? So that's a substantial tax break to the resident. I just want to make it clear that there is a reduction in the school tax.
Yes, that's a reduction, correct?
Correct. What about county? What was the tax rate in 2022?
The county was 0.930.
Okay, so in 2023, I see 0.974,
It's 0.895.
0.895, so there is a drop.
Correct, a reduction.
So what we are saying is, in nutshell, is there is a drop in the tax rate for the school, there is a drop in the county. However, we are increasing it by 3.5%,
2.78%.
2.78%. So that compensates the increase at the county, decrease in the county, and a decrease at the school,
Correct.
level.
Correct,
And net taxes.
right. And that's, as Mayor Joshi reported last week at the council meeting, the net result of the overall municipal tax rate, the overall tax rate for the school, county, and municipal will result in a reduction.
Correct. So this is the first time that's happening, but not because of the credit to this council and not to the administration. It is happening because of the school and the county that's giving the reduction.
Exactly.
What's going to happen next year when they go back to their tax rate? If they bump up, the school bumps up to back to their original 2022, and county goes back to 22, where we land up? 5% increase?
I have no idea where the county or the school are going to end up next year.
No, I'm just, again,
Yeah.
because they reduce the tax, no one will be able to continue to keep reducing the tax so that we can increase the tax on the municipal side. So some point in time, I would say that possibly next year, if they increase their tax rate, you think we'll be in big hole from the revenue not from the revenue standpoint of view, but from the total tax standpoint of view?
From a total tax rate, I have no idea where the county or school are going, but if they do increase, it's going to end up in an overall increase in the tax rate.
Yeah, but with that point in time, we cannot blame saying, hey, school increase the tax or county increase the stat, I'm keeping my tax rate 0, blame somewhere else. But now if someone else is decreasing, we all are saying we are going to keep your taxes low or 0%. I just want to put that on the record. Some of the numbers I looked, it's very striking, and that's where I made the comment on all our capital projects. This council approved, as I said, like this is a record of this council. Last 8 years I'm on the council, and pretty much last 12 years I'm watching council meetings. I don't think ever I came across that this council denied any capital improvement project. So, but looking at this budget, we have reduction from 12 million to 9 million, so it's a saving of 3 million. Technically, we could build another turf field if we have added that back into the budget, but that's not happening at this point in time. The second line item was we sold quite a few liquor licenses that increased our revenue $3 million. Again, this is one time. Are we going to keep selling the liquor license every year to bring that revenue back? The reason I'm bringing all these things here, because this time school and the county is saving us to keep the taxes stable or maybe reduce taxes. But I don't think it is a sustainable model that we can keep selling the liquor licenses. So my question is, do you anticipate keeping the momentum of additional liquor licenses?
Councilman Patil, you're asking questions with regard to what may or may not, and we can't predict that. So goes with the county and the school.
No, I'm questioning about the liquor license. That's over. That topic is over.
We can't predict whether there will be licenses that are available.
So the reason I'm saying is, okay, we had the increase rateable. We are trying to bridge the gap in terms of our expense versus, because we are, or I would say we are outspending our revenue, and that's the reason we sold $3 million worth of liquor licenses. That revenue will not be there because this is one-time revenue. So there are a lot of one-time revenues here. COVID 4.7 million, I don't know, we'll get next year. So I'm looking at $7.7 million. That's probably we may or may not get unless we sell the liquor license or we find another $4.7 million somewhere else. Yes, our insurance increased $5 million, so I do understand, but we also saved $3 million in the interest payment. So if you look at the offset of the insurance increase was from interest saving and the debt payment saving, that should have offset. And that's where I was, I'm concurring with my council colleagues saying, hey, it's good that we are hiring more police officers, but how many of those will be on the ground? That's the key here. So what I would have preferred here is like the turf fields, the stadium, good things. I would have preferred to invest more on the infrastructure that are in immediate need. And I'll give the example, flashing lights. There are lots of traffic incidents, accident incidents. We have not spent the money on that. Traffic signals, we have the same problem. Look at the traffic that's happening around. So that's one. Second one is we don't have the walkways to the school. We could have looked at that project as well. My big issue here is I'm pitching for the capital improvement project that deals with the flooding. It's nowhere in the budget. Yes, there are a lot of things, as I said, like we are saving $3 million in our capital project, including what we are giving back to the youths. I'm happy with that. But the same token, I'm not seeing something else that could happen instead of saving the money. So what I see is this budget, we are more of filling the gaps to balance it, rather than identifying the key issues firsthand, what we have and what we can do and what we cannot do. My worry at this point in time is if county and the school increase their tax, and if you have to spend on more capital projects, I'm looking at the next year tax rate maybe somewhere like 5 to 6%, somewhere. And again, we don't know what's going to happen with the insurance. So instead of kicking can down the road, we should have worked out on the budget to make sure that we balance out our numbers effectively. Having said that, we did receive $1.4 million additional funds from the state. I may agree to disagree with my council colleague. I'm happy that we can always fill up our reserve so that we can use that somewhere else. Maybe like we have the hole now. If we cannot sell $3 million liquor license, maybe we may be able to use that money. Not the right thing to do, but we can live with that. So I'm happy to have that money added. In nutshell, I'm asking, again, through Council President, question to administration, how confident you are to keep this budget intact, or let me ask other way around. We are in the month of July. We have not hired those 200 plus police officers that we're talking. So technically that 6 months of salaries and benefit, those funds, those will be available probably they will go in surplus, or I don't know how you categorize that, or maybe in reserve. Hopefully that will help to bridge the gap for the next year. But again, it's a kicking can down the road. We cannot keep continuing doing that. And I will be supporting this budget just for the reason that I don't want youth to be disappointed. Even though I ask so many questions, I'm not happy with the budget, but just for the sake of youths, I'm going to support this budget. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, sir. Council Vice
Council.
President Harris?
Yes. Piggybacking off of what Councilman Brescher said with regard to the surplus, and if it were to be applied back to the taxpayer, do we know what the breakdown would be per household of how much would go back to the taxpayers?
When I did my calculation, just taking the 106 minus that amount on the estimated tax, I came up with approximately $39
So about $39.
on the average assessed value of 184.4.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. I'm thinking with that, I think it was a good question, Councilman Brescher. I'm thinking that for the $39 on one side, I don't want to be penny wise and pound foolish, and so I'm okay with leaving the surplus as it is. With regard to the municipal budget overall, here's a couple of things I don't like. I don't like that it's July 26th and we are just now approving this budget. To me, it's really an outrage. This should have been presented and approved a long time ago, and so I hope that we don't come to this late date again next year. I also did not like that when the property tax reduction was presented by the mayor, it appeared that he was, in a way, misrepresenting or disingenuously implying that this was something that we had something to do with, and of course we don't. This is the county. And so we're very fortunate that we have this we have this reduction in the property tax, but it's of no credit to us. Now, having said this, I asked a lot of tough questions, 15 minutes worth of tough questions during the budget presentation, and I came away satisfied with the answers to these questions. And having said that, I don't love everything in this budget, but this is one of these things where we can't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. I will be approving this budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Councilwoman Bishop Freeman.
Yes, starting off with the lack of transparency, I am very disturbed by the fact that you weren't not able to see or stream the questions that was asked during the budget meeting. And so that alone is a disappointment to me. And we have some serious infrastructure problems that are upon us. And even someone sent me even a tweet of how horrible it was yesterday on Amboy Avenue. I know it was like a little bit of water before, but I mean, now I needed to get a boat just to make myself around town and make myself around Woodbridge Avenue. Now, I'm very disappointed with the budget and its transparency and stuff, and I'm not feeling good as a senior about it because I don't want to get into it real deeply and then find out next year that the infrastructure is still a major problem and we're still having all these things where, oh, another water main break, another water main break, millions and millions going more and more that we're going to have to cost. I and other senior citizens do not want to be displaced, and I know, everybody will know, yes, the COVID money is going to run out, and all the pandemic money is going to run out. So, I'm 200% with the organization because I've been part of that organization, and I'm sure none of us will ever vote against you receiving a great place for the Jets because you deserve it. But I'm very disappointed, and I see too many loopholes, and I think it's something that I'm not satisfied with my answers that I received, and I think that because a lot of times, you cut, you paste, you give out only information that you want to give, and then everybody thinks they have to get on a rah-rah train, okay? They don't understand that you can be honest with people, and people will respect you for being honest, all right? And that's how I feel about it. And I feel like a lot of times, things, they don't seem like they are. When you have a budget and you need to pass it, and they were telling me about the lack of police officers, and I've been reading the different, crime statistics, and I look around at the different things that are actually going on, and I'm very disappointed that we're going to be just throwing money around on different things, and I know we need more broadband and stuff, but hey, let me tell you something, that's a big ticket item, all right? I don't have a problem with big ticket item if you take care of my infrastructure first. And with the overdevelopment, the school is going to go up because the school has to keep up with the overdevelopment that's constantly. The more they condemn places, the more they build more places. So what do you think that? You think that's not going to, the school tax is not going to go up because of that? You know what I mean? You move one house, you put 3 there. What do you think? But who do you think going to come out of that house? All right? The puppies and stuff are not going to school, but that's what saddens me at all. I just wish we could be very honest and we could just work together. And I wish you had the opportunity before you came here tonight to look at some of the things that were discussed at the budget meeting last week. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Freeman. Any other comment?
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Coyle.
Thank you, Council President. It's my opinion this budget serves the residents of Edison. In comparison to years back, there is more in this budget for the residents and taxpayers than ever before. And first, we went from a police department of 155 officers to 182. My colleagues are right. Of course we want more. We also made some great strides, and thanks to Councilwoman Joy Shipp, we pushed to make sure we had our first ever fire department female, and we made retrofits for that, and that was first ever. We've done so many firsts in this town, if you look at just our workforce itself. Aside from promoting more than 22 lieutenants, sergeants, we made great strides in replacing our senior officers that moved on. I mean, it was not an easy year for those who choose to retire. But when I look at this budget from the public safety point, of course, we all want more, but the budget to me, in my opinion, is about balancing the budget. I feel when it comes to our infrastructure, we all know 5 years ago, we were looking at taking on Suez and having someone else be the middleman of improving our infrastructure and water. We control our water today. We made great strides employing local men and women in Edison to work in our sewer department to learn a trade. We're improving all of our parks in our town. We're building a turf field. We're expanding the tote center. I mean, the list goes on and on for so many great things that are happening in Edison. You can't turn your back and say this, this budget doesn't have enough in it. Of course, we all want more. I mean, who doesn't? And most of all, when you look at the turf fields, there are so many people that'd be happy, and I tip my hat, and I'm sorry for the loss of Ally. I know she'd be proud of this turf field today and what this recreation facility means to her and to her friends. When I look at cheerleading, the sport of cheerleading, which I know she would agree, it's a sport. We're having a rec facility now for wrestling and for cheerleading, for other sports to be indoors. First ever. I mean, we have so many first evers in here. So I'm not going to continue to go on and on about all the great things I see in this budget. I just feel I'm honored to vote for this. I've been here, on the dais for close to 8 years with my senior colleague, Councilman Patil. I've never seen us make this, so many accomplishments. I've never seen us put the shovel in the ground on so many projects, so many studies. We just talked about cable. The public voted for this mayor and his administration, some council members, because of cable. They wanted change. I just got 3 text messages last night about Cablevision, Optimum, Altice, whatever they are today. So we're making a stride to have a competitor, and we're going to be the competitor. So things are going to change for that. And so many people complain. It's one of the number one topics to change. And at least we're making that stride towards it. So I'm extremely pleased to move forward. I'm looking forward to be at that turf field. I'm told that, our health department also worked on skin protection for people. Not everybody's using it, but it's out there. I mean, our health department and new director is doing so many things, from opioids to skin protection to a lot of great things. That wasn't for you, boss, I'm sorry. But I'm proud, I'm truly proud of pickleball courts, the paving that's going on, the health facility, the Toads facility. It's a wonderful opportunity. I'm proud to sit on this dais and work with each one of our colleagues here to get things done. And look at Nish, our council colleague, Nish. He's pushing for bike lanes. Councilman George Ship Frieden, splash park. We've never had a splash park. It's coming. She pushed for bathrooms. It's happening. We're getting things done. I'm looking forward to more. I'm looking forward to working with my council colleagues who I may have challenges with, but we sit down and we believe it or not, Rich Gunn and I go out to dinner, right? He has to buy, but it's just the way it is. But he only takes me for hot dogs. But we're getting things done, and we may debate up here and argue, but I promise you, we sit back and we have breakfast, and we're about the residents. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Coyle. Any other comments? Yes, Councilman Patel.
Ken, how much was the inflation for the past year that we all experienced? Roughly 10%?
Yes.
Okay. And the school got $25 million for free
Correct. They got additional state aid.
to balance their budget.
Correct.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
We are lucky that we did get a break from the municipal tax, right? How much was it last year?
Our municipal tax rate?
Yeah. Last year, our municipal tax rate.
Yeah, 1.402,
And this year?
1.441.
No, I'm sorry. The county, I'm confused. The county tax,
Oh, the county.
yes.
We get that back to you.
You wrote it down?
.93 in 2022 and 0.89 in 2023.
So we saved a significant money.
Correct.
Okay. Now, so that's good. I'm happy with that so far. So if the, all right, I'm going to talk about this a bit later so you can continue. How much increase do we have on the non-control, non-discretionary spending that we had to spend no matter what?
It was about 80% of our budget increase, just between pension and health insurance and so forth, state mandated costs.
And this was for our fire department, our police department.
Yeah, and then fire and police. So if you take the state mandated costs, fire and police, The rest of the budget went up relatively little in comparison.
Okay, so we had a lot of non-discretionary, and we didn't get a $25 million last I checked, right? Okay, good.
That would have been
was-
nice.
Yeah, that would have been nice. So I don't think the school is saving us. I think the state is saving the school. And I'm lucky that we got the county tax break, but I'm afraid that there will be an increase next year because it is a possibility, right?
Yes, and just on the municipal side, I want to add that we're committed to getting more grant funding, state, federal, county, countywide, so that will offset our budget, and we are very aggressive with getting those grants. So thus far, and I provided you with nearly 5.5 million in grants just in the last 2 years with this administration. So we are going to be aggressive, and we're going to work hard to make sure that a lot of these facilities, just on the Toth Health Center, we've gotten about 3 million from the federal government to support that structure.
So the other thing that, the big discussion item is that 1.4 million that we got late. Now, I know that we could add it, but our budget will be delivered in September then, right? Would that hold back any projects that we're trying to accomplish within that time frame?
It would, especially our capital improvement projects that we're looking to go ahead to get done. And I also wanted to add, we do have within the capital budget approximately $1 million to work on the drainage issues throughout the township.
Okay, smart choice. So based on how I personally finance my personal budget, I like stability. I don't like worrying about, hey, if my tire flats out or something that is very likely to happen, I don't have enough funds to cover that. So I like stability. So one of the things that I'm worried about is in the future, maybe the school won't get $25 million and they will increase their cost. In the future, the county is likely to increase their tax rate, and we won't have the cushion to essentially say, hey, we prepared for this, we planned for this, so we are okay. We don't have to increase our tax rate 1,000%, or we don't have to take an emergency bond to say, hey, we didn't think this was ever going to happen, the county was going to increase their rate. Essentially what I'm saying is, I think it is a smarter choice to cushion ourselves for the next year, especially since the next year's budget, legally speaking, has to be based on what we get this year. And now next year, if we don't have that cushion, we might be looking at a much higher increase. So I would rather prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And in terms of the broadband, I believe it is an infrastructure. We do need to invest in it. And in terms of the overdevelopment, BOE got $25 million. So I hope they take care of that 30-year-old problem of overcrowded schools. They've known about this since they've been elected. Work on it. So we as a town can build, and we can build smartly. I'm sorry, but they need to fix those issues. It is not our responsibility to help them fix it. They have the money, use it wisely. And also, we are building things with this. We're building the splash park, we're building the bike path, we're building the Edison Light Transit. What have we built in the previous administrations? Please enlighten me. Thank you.
Council President,
Yes, Councilwoman Schifrin.
in terms of infrastructure, and, I hear these people saying the last administration, the chief of staff was here 20 years, so I guess he did nothing while he was here. But thinking about on those terms, it was so sad when I seen a healthcare aide come from the sidewalk, and then she had to push the person in the wheelchair in the street the next time because of our sidewalks. And I know I talk about the sidewalks all the time because we need sidewalks so people won't have to, so people won't be in the street. And then, because of the driving conditions and other conditions, and flood conditions, all the other conditions that do with infrastructure, okay? I just felt that was so sad when they had to go from the sidewalk to pushing this lady in the street. It was sad.
Thank you, Councilwoman Patil.
Thank you, Councilman. Just want to rebuttal what my council colleagues said. You said the inflation is 10%. Is that true? You said yes.
The rate of inflation was under 10% last year, yes.
I'm talking about this year.
For this, for the past year,
Yes, 10%.
yes.
Correct. Did we increase the salary of all our employees by 10%?
This, salary increases negotiated so far have been around 3%.
Here you go. So one side, my council colleague is saying our expenses went up 10%, but we didn't give back to our employees 3%. I'm okay with that because that's a contract negotiation. Just want to make everyone aware. Not everybody's salary went up 10%. Not my salary went up 10%. I don't think anybody's salary went up 10%. So that's the reality of life. So when the inflation goes up, we need to find a way to curb our expenses to keep that balance. So the argument here is it went up 10%, that's why budget has to go up. I would say that's an insane comparison. Second part is on police and fire. It has been always 80% of our budget or close to around that number, has been always. This is not a surprise to us because we are continuing to invest into both the departments. And again, I'm going back to the comments my council colleague said, nothing was done by prior administration. I think we need to go back and check our fire department, how many trucks we purchased, what are the capital investment we did there, how many roads we paved in last 4 or 5 years. Again, I'm saying that I'm supporting the budget, but the logic that is given, I just want to make sure that I balance that out. Thank you, Sonia, saying, 1 million is added into drainage for this town, especially for those 2 projects.
Yes, and many of those that have been discussed here at the
Correct.
meeting.
1 million probably will be just an engineering fees. Nothing is going to happen with this $1 million, knowing how much it costs, right? So saying that we put this in the budget, again, it's insane. It's just for the label. I wouldn't buy in those kind of things. So as I said, I can talk a lot and counter those actions, but I don't want to take a time because folks are waiting in the audience. They want to see this budget go through, but happy to debate. We can do a lot better. I have been looking at the budget past 8 years. I wouldn't say that this is the greatest budget, but yes, we have done a lot this year. A lot improvement has happened. Things are moving forward, and that's only the reason I'm supporting this budget, not to stall anything in a progress. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Patil. Any other? Yes, Councilman
Yes.
Brescher.
Yes, thank you, Council President. Yeah, I just wanted to be clear that, whether it's 1.2 million or 5 million or whatever it is, the mayor and the administration presented this body with a complete budget that had every wish list in the world on it. And now we're going to keep this $1 million still in there. And it's like hoarding. In fact, we have people that write blogs about hoarding money. If you can't live on the budget that you present and then you get more money and you can't give that back to the public, I just feel bad for all the residents in the town. You're going to have a tax increase. You're going to get one. You're getting it this year from us. You're going to end up getting a bigger one next year, and the following year will even be worse. Because as my colleagues have pointed out, we had the $3 million hole with the liquor licenses. We got the $5 million hole with the COVID money. And there's one more hole that we have. Oh, insurance. Insurance is going to go up again, regrettably. It's not about us saving money and trying to put it away for a rainy day. We are only supposed to raise the taxes for what we need, not rainy day funds. There's a small amount of money that's supposed to be held over in a surplus that they recommend and auditors do, and we have that, and that's covered. So there isn't a need to do it. Your taxes should be down and it should be lower. And I just wanted to point that out because my council colleague put up that, he thought it was good for us to squirrel away money. And I don't believe that's what our job is. Our job is to tax you for what we need, and that's it. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Brusher. Councilman Patel?
Not saving for a rainy day, I don't think that sounds like a good financial advice to me. But there are risks that we cannot see coming. We could have problems in the future that we did not plan for. Climate change. Did you plan to have smokes mask again after 2 years? No, we did not plan for that. It is happening. The climate change, the temperatures in the oceans are much higher. The coral reef is dying. All of these things are happening. This is a little peek into the future, and it's going to get worse. So yes, I would like to save for rainy days, because there will be a time that I'll be glad that I had some fund because I had a flat tire and I had the money to fix it. Thank you.
Council President, I just to be
Councilman
clear,
Brusher.
because I understand certain people don't have, but let me ask, maybe Kendra Roberts can explain. Let's say that the coral reefs all died and the flooding came all up into Edison, and there was a need for us to appropriate additional funds. Is there a mechanism for that? Or we just have to live with what we have?
Yes, in the event of emergency, we are allowed to request emergency appropriations from the council.
Thank you. I just wanted to clear that up. Thank you.
Council President,
Councilman Patel?
thank you for that. That's something you're doing. But when I say emergency, I don't only mean climate change. I mean, it could be anything like, as I previously mentioned, the county tax rate increasing, or the schools not able to budget their new schools, hopefully, and they need to increase their taxes. All of that is an emergency that we have to plan for, because next year, when that comes through, we don't want to increase the total tax rate by, essentially, it'll be destabilizing to the normal residents. We don't want, and especially the greatest thing that we still managed to get the total tax rate to be lower. In since 1988, that is something to be mindful of. And essentially, I'm just worried about things that we don't have control over, and that's it. Sorry, I kind of went on a rant there.
Okay. No,
Ramble.
Council President, just one more thing, just to clarify.
Yes, Councilman Brusher.
Yes, my council colleague said that we had the lowest. We did this. No, this body, we did not do it. The school board did it, and the county did it. That's why we have that lowest rate. Has nothing to do with we. And just to inform my council colleague, the only reason why the schools have gotten all of this money was because of, at the time when I was on the Board of Education, Keaton set up a meeting with myself and Senator Sweeney. We went through, we actually evaluated all the numbers. We spoke to the board that he had. They agreed to fix all the school funding for the state of New Jersey, and that was due to your Edison Board of Education at that time. So everybody that was on the board voted for us all to go, and we did seminars throughout the state. And Murphy met us, and he said, we can't bring everybody's funding up to what it's supposed to be. He said, it's going to take me 4 or 5 years to get you this money. And Murphy did, whether you like the man or not, he did keep his promise. And right now, instead of Edison getting only $14 million a year, Edison's getting approximately $70 million. So that was a great thing that we did on the Board of Education, and that's why your tax rate is going down. It has nothing to do with we on this body. That was my only point. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Brusher. Councilman Coyle?
I thought I was done, but, when I have to listen to opinions, and again, we all have our opinion. When I think about our mayor today and our administration, our legislative body, our state senator Pat Dagnan, our Senate President Nick Scuteri, and our mayor Sam Joshi, I think of the leverage we have in a room to get things done. Although people have their opinion of how things happen in the end, there are many bumps and rides and turns along the way of one conversation that leads to another. But I have to say, when I look at our mayor Sam Joshi, at the end, it's this council and the power of how we work together and how we work with a legislative body at the end result comes to us. Because at any time, things change. When they see a body that doesn't work together and collectively get things done, funding changes for all different reasons. Yes, calculations are great, but I owe it to our mayor, our legislative body, our state senator, our Senate President Nick Scuteri, for getting these things done, and our speaker, Craig Coughlin. This is how Edison operates to get big moves done to save money. That's what I believe. And last, I just want to take note to our council president. When I have any issues in our community and I have an issue with either sidewalks or any issue, I email my council president. I just ask our council colleagues if there's issues that we need to address that weren't addressed in this budget, that were complaints from your residents that came to you on a specific issue, please email that to the council president. That's how we get things done. That's how we find out about that sidewalk, that senior that's not happy, that roadway, that pothole. That's how we get more done working together. So I'll continue to email you, Council President. Thank you for getting things done for me this year for our residents.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Patel?
Sorry, just had to. I believe when I say we, I mean us as a town. BOE does get credit. Any participant in this total tax budget, we do get credit that we were able to bring it down to the lowest since 1988. And also the fact that we, as a body, are voting on this. And if we had to increase it by 4%, would we get credit then? No, because then we would be increasing the tax rate. And look, everyone can use more money. If I had more money, I would invest in more infrastructure. If I had more money, I would do more capital projects. Having more money stabilizes us for the future. And that's all I'm saying. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comment? At risk of cutting off the hydra's head and two more sprouting up, I have yet to speak. So if I can make my comment on the budget, I'd appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone's patience and understanding. When I look at the budget, I'm looking at the return on investment to the residents of Edison in totality. That's through state, county, Board of Education, and our local body. So to me, with the overall tax rate not going up, to me is a good thing. To address some of the items that have been mentioned, first, the video of the budget presentation, granted it was not on the Edison TV website on Monday's meeting, but it has since been put up. I do understand that there was a mislabeling on the YouTube. It's up.
Today? Wasn't there yesterday when I seen it?
I just looked at it. I'll play it right now if people would like, but it's up there. I am personally of the opinion that if we have the opportunity to increase the township's reserves for a rainy day fund, that we should take advantage of the opportunity that we have to do so. It was mentioned about unforeseen items. Now, I don't believe that this item will occur again because we've just passed a recession. But as many people know, in 2010, the township was hit with many tax appeals, which financially hurt the township. So to me, it is not bad to have additional reserves. To Councilman Patil's question in regards to engineering fees, there is, I think you'd be happy to see that under the 6-year projected capital improvement, it says engineering drainage projects and stormwater projects, $46,500,000, with, I believe, approximately $5 million figured for this year. So yes, we are looking to make the necessary improvements in our infrastructure, specifically stormwater and drainage. I do thank Councilman Brescher for his efforts while on the Board of Education, because, as was mentioned, that helps bring additional funding to the Township of Edison. As was mentioned, this year, the Board of Education received the extra $25 million. I invite the public to look at the Board of Education meeting from March, when it was preliminarily talked about the potential of a tax increase on their side. And then once the additional funding occurred, there's no tax increase. Additional funds from outside sources is a benefit for all. I would ask my colleague to my right, in the same manner that the state appropriation for the education was done, if we could help get proper appropriation for the energy tax receipts, because that would increase additional funding from the township side. And that's something that we need to get the funding equation more appropriate, if I recall correctly. Apologize, just give me 1 second. When I review the budget, I look at the line item reviews, I look at the expense ratios, how much is actually spent versus how much was appropriated, how much appropriation has increased, and compare these in comparison to historical references, just so that the public knows the type of background info or background items that I do when reviewing the budget. When you look at where the increases in the budget primarily are going, code enforcement, buildings and grounds, parks and trees, recreation, planning and engineering, health, senior services, streets and roads, planning and zoning boards. I think that the administration has done a fantastic job in terms of improving the services over the past year and a half, particularly in these departments. And when I say these departments, these are the ones with the, from a percentage standpoint, are the highest increases. I'd like to play a little game. It's called, well, Woodbridge has. Woodbridge has a total appropriation of $206 million in their budget. This proposed budget is $170 million. When you look at their state funding for Board of Education, they have $103 million. We have $73 million. When you look at the state aid, specifically the energy tax receipts that I just mentioned, they have $24.4 million. Edison has $18.6 million. If you look at surplus, which has been a big topic of discussion, they have $16 million figured for their surplus. We're figuring to be about 7.6 with the amended budget. That's not to include if things are not expensed over the year, put into reserves and then put into for surplus. In conclusion, I think that what the administration is offering is the smart thing to do for the township moving forward. It provides us the padding that's, I believe, necessary for the upcoming years. I certainly hope that our state funding increases to help mitigate. Maybe it doesn't, but at that point, we would at least have the padding to be able to counter those items. So with that, for me, I will be supporting this budget. Thank you.
Council President,
Yes, Councilman
I
Patel.
have some of the questions. Again, based on few things that you said, and I think there's a disconnect between what administration said. $5 million is allocated for stormwater project. Is that engineering fee or?
The line item says engineering and drainage, let me just pull it up.
Yeah, because I heard $1 million.
Engineering drainage projects and stormwater projects. So I don't have the specific breakdown.
Understood. Because we have spent almost similar amount with the prior company doing the same services. So again, I lost my hope because we didn't start the project. This year we are supposed to really start the project. So we are pretty much going backward and redoing those things. That's what I feel. Coming back to comparison of Woodbridge, very different town, we all know. Mayor and the Board of Ed works very closely, very closely. The reason their budget is high because their ratables are high, and the reason is mayor has been constantly looking for the pilot projects. Having said that, the mayor also gave back the entire new school building to the Board of Ed. So it's working together. That's the reason, again, if we want to compare, I think it's unfair in terms of the budget, what we compare with Woodbridge versus Edison, for the fact that, two different entities working together, trying to save money or trying to, shake hand here. We are, working in a very isolated model, so I wouldn't even go there. Yes, we have to give the credit to Mayor McCormick. He has been very consistent of getting the highest state aid. This has been, believe me, in the last 15 years, you look at the numbers. We are probably 40 or 50% of that. And maybe, again, we have to give him a credit for that, and we have to do probably more lobbying to get there so we can build our reserve. The irony of the politics in this town is one mayor builds the reserve, the next mayor spends that money. Look from all the way from Mayor Choi, Mayor Risigliano, Mayor Blanky, now Mayor Joshi. This has been always a struggle. I believe when Mayor Blanky left, he left the healthy reserve close to $12 million, and now we're talking about 6 million or 7 million. As I said, again, we need to put more effort to build that. Again, I'm not criticizing any of those initiatives, but just bring that point in here that probably we need to bring more tables. That's number one. We need to look at more pilot projects and work with the Board of Ed to give back something to the Board of Ed. So that will at least increase our table, increase our revenue, and there will be less burden to the taxpayer. The reason I'm bringing this up is I have not seen a big pilot projects in 1.5 years. And I'm looking forward to have more pilot projects and of course working with the Board of Ed not to take that tax money but giving back to the Board of Ed as well. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. And if I can just offer one clarification, by all means, is it absolutely not an apples-to-apples comparison, but in many conversations, a lot of people like to bring it up as a comparison. That's the only reason why I was bringing that up. But you did mention something that I did forget to state, which was the pilot programs. Woodbridge has $23 million in pilot programs. We're figuring to have $2 million, which, by the way, pilot programs don't account towards normal revenue and assist in getting more state aid, specifically on the education front, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you for reminding me on that. Councilman Freeman?
Yeah, when you was talking about Woodbridge, I said Woodbridge has 2 rec centers, Woodbridge has 2 hockey centers, Woodbridge has a performing arts center. Woodbridge has like so many things because of that. That's why I wish we would have compared it to some other town, because Woodbridge is really, and they're in the process of building some other special kind of Bugler Park and different things they got going on. I know I go there for exercises within their recreational building, within their senior buildings, within all that stuff. So, I mean, it's spent back into their community. They give a lot back to their community in Woodbridge.
We'll get there.
Thank you.
Council President, 30 seconds.
I'll just finish up in saying, even though I know it's not directly budget appropriate, I do hope that by the end of this meeting, we will be well on our way to a new splash park and sports building. With that said, any last comments?
Council President, I just want to share that Woodbridge taxes for the fire department outside the municipal budget. So there's a tax for the municipal, but there's also a separate tax sent out for the fire department. So we don't do that.
On the wards, yeah. Any last questions or comments? All right. There was a motion and a second to approve, so this would be for the roll call. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
No.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes, for youth and the improvements in this town. Thank you.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
No.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. Motion passes. Next, we have the public hearing and final adoption of the solid waste budget. At this time, I'd like to open up to the public for any comment on the solid waste budget.
Council President, motion to close the public portion.
Second. Motion by Councilman Coyle, second by Councilman Patel. All in favor? Aye.
Oh.
No. Oh,
This is for the municipal tax, for the sanitation budget.
I just wanted to
Hold on,
ask
hold
a
on, hold on,
question.
hold on.
Am I out of order now?
no, hold on. This is sanitation. Water is under the municipal budget.
No, I just wanted to ask a question on the budget, since it wasn't posted in time.
No, this is, if it's in regards to the sanitation budget, yes.
Budget in general.
The municipal budget is what we had just.
Okay.
had. Thank you for being understanding. So there was a motion and a second to close the public portion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Public portion is now closed. Can I get a motion on the solid waste budget?
Motion on the solid waste budget?
Second.
Motion by Council Vice President Harris, second by Councilman Patel. Any council comments? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher,
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle,
Yes.
Councilmember Harris, Councilmember Patel,
Yes.
Councilmember Patil,
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman. Yes. Council President Pointer.
Yes. Next, we'll move on to new business, proposed ordinances for public hearing, sit down for Wednesday, August 23rd. Madam Clerk, please read.
An ordinance authorizing the sale of 2 township properties known as Block 491.01, Lot 30, and Block 491.01, Lot 33 in the Township of Edison.
Can I get a motion?
I move this ordinance be passed on first reading, published according to law for further consideration and public hearing set down for August 23rd, 2023.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any council comments?
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Patil.
I did ask on Monday council meeting that, if someone can do the research and find out if the owner of this lot will be eligible to build a house on this lot under the hardship clause.
The answer is no, he cannot.
Okay. Can I get an email, something from the township? Because I needed this in black and white.
If you'd like a legal opinion from me, you can have it.
Yes.
Yes, certainly.
Yes,
We can do
of
that.
course,
Thank you,
yes.
absolutely. Cal.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? No? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher,
Being that our attorney is going to give his legal opinion for it, I vote yes. Thank you.
Councilmember Coyle,
Yes.
Councilmember Harris,
Yes.
Councilmember Patel,
Yes.
Councilmember Patil,
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman,
Yes.
President Pointer.
It's an introduction.
Madam Clerk, please read ordinance.
Ordinance amending the Township Code to add an address to the list of persons entitled to a handicapped parking space.
Can I get a motion?
I move this ordinance be passed on first reading, published according to law for further consideration and public hearing set down for August 23rd, 2023.
Seconded.
Motion by Council Vice President Harris, second by Councilman Patil. Any council comments? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher,
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle,
Yes.
Councilmember Harris,
Yes.
Councilmember Patel,
Yes.
Councilmember Patil,
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman,
Yes.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. Madam Clerk, please read ordinance.
Ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a deed of easement and to clarification of conveyances for the Shea track on the Metuchen Meeting House battlefield.
Can I get a motion?
Council President, I move this ordinance be passed on first reading, published according to the law for further consideration and public hearing set down for Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Motion by Councilman Patil, second by Council Vice President Harris. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher,
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle,
Yes.
Councilmember Harris,
Yes.
Councilmember Patel,
Yes.
Councilmember Patil, Councilmember Ship Freeman,
Yes.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. Madam Clerk, please read the ordinance.
Ordinance authorizes the mayor to enter into a deed of easement and declaration of covenants for the Ferrente track on Metuchen, at the Metuchen Meeting House battlefield.
Can I get a motion?
I move this ordinance be passed on first reading, published according to law for further consideration and public hearing set down for Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any council comments? Councilman Patel?
I just want to say, I know one person will be very happy with this, which is Walter Stoschel, and I am very happy to preserve our history. Many of our residents have had roots here for over 300 years and family dating back to that time, and it's important that we preserve our history. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? Yes, Councilman Brasher?
Yes, I'm in favor of this, but there was some language in there that was, that I just read. It said something about where you can't do digging on the property. And, you know, I was wondering if that would include utilities. Because I know that there's.
It never applies to utilities, unfortunately.
So-
Yeah, that's the, yes.
So like if we needed to bring electric or water or something
Absolutely.
to a facility there, we could do that.
Right, absolutely, and if there were any utilities, the utility companies have a right to go in under state law, so,
Okay.
yeah, so they could be added, and it could also be maintained,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Battil.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman. Council President Pointer.
Yes. At this time, I'd like to open up to the public for comment on the resolutions only. Yes.
Ellen Arthur, Michelle Circle, Edison. It's really a question regarding 2180. Is this ordinance specific to a particular location regarding?
Oh. This is in regards to the resolutions. The ordinance wouldn't be part of that, but it's in regards to one resident property being added on for a handicap spot. The ordinance that you're referencing.
Okay.
Anyone else for comment on the resolutions only? Seeing none, can I get a motion to close the public?
Motion to close the public portion?
Second.
Motion by Councilman Coyle, second by Councilman Patel. All in favor?
Aye.
Public portion is now closed. Starting from my right, anything to pull for a separate vote?
449? 449.
449. Councilman Coyle?
None, sir.
Council Vice President Harris?
None, sir.
Councilman Patel?
None.
Councilman Patil, sorry.
415.
415. Councilwoman Schiff Freeman?
430 and 431.
And just apologize.
Council
Rest-
President, just 431, just
Oh,
431.
just 431?
Yeah, not 430, just 431.
And I will add in 448.
Yeah, Council President, did you do 448?
That's what I was.
Okay, good, thank you.
Councilwoman Schiff Freeman, you said 431, correct?
I think, wait, the 430 and the 431 have to do with condemnation of properties, correct?
Certainly, 430 does. 431 only asks for an investigation from the planning
Okay,
board.
so 430, that's it, just 430, thank you. Yeah, that's it, thank you.
So just to repeat, we got 449, Councilman Brescher, 448, Councilman Coyle and myself, 430, Councilwoman Schiff Freeman, and 415, Councilman Patil. So the consent agenda will be Resolution 414, Resolutions 416 through 429, Resolutions 431 through 447, and Resolutions 450 through 464. At this time, can I get a motion on the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Patil, second by Councilman Vice President Harris. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. I'll go numerically, 415, Councilman Patil.
Thank you, Council President. I think, I asked this question many, many times, and I'm asking again, so I can vote accordingly. Came back in, I think in January, got the council voted no, came back again. This was related to the interest rate for the tax sale certificates. I requested for 0%. I was told it has to go to the highest, 18%. So that's history. My question here is, we are refunding is $455,000, which is close to $500,000. What is the revenue that this township received on this line item?
Councilman, the township doesn't receive any of the revenue. This is a premium that the bidder pays to buy the tax lien for that particular property. And since that's now been satisfied, the premium paid is being returned.
Correct. So what you are saying is, technically, there is no benefit to the town except recovering the funds.
The benefit that the town received was we received from this tax lien holder payment of the delinquent property taxes.
Correct. And there is no other benefit.
Correct.
And in the month of January as well as February, I said that we are living in Edison. There is a tax bid, even if you put 5%, people will buy the tax sale certificates.
Well, they're doing it at 5% and even higher premiums.
Understood, and that's where I was asking, due to the COVID situation, if we can, again, it's about the recovering the money, why we cannot keep the lower interest rate? That was a very specific question. The reason I'm asking this one is because we spent money on mailers. We are sending the notices to the taxpayers, here you are delinquent. Correct?
Yes.
At least we should be able to recover some portion of that because it's hit to us anyway. But we are passing the benefit to someone else who is making the business on this Edison taxpayers.
Yeah, the way the system works under the state law is the lien holder bids the premium.
Understood.
And pays the delinquent property taxes.
Understood.
So that's the benefit that we get, plus delinquent interest. And the interest is for the first $1,500 at 6%. Anything over $1,500, they pay us 18% interest.
Just now you said we don't get anything. Now you're saying we are getting something back.
Well, delinquent interest on delinquent taxes.
Correct.
Yes.
Because this is tax sale certificate is basically those are delinquent.
Correct, yes.
Correct. So what's that amount that we received in the interest payment?
That I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Okay. Again, I asked this question a month ago. I was told you will get an answer. I see an email going to the council president with a remark saying this is not a benefit to the taxpayer, but it is to the township. I get that, and that's the reason I asked the question.
Right,
So first
okay.
time the answer was no, now second time answer is yes, but we don't know the amount.
So we'll give you the amount of the delinquent interest that was paid for
Yes.
that particular property.
Correct, and that's what I'm interested in.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other comments for 415? Can I get a motion on the resolution?
Motion to adopt.
Second?
Motion by Councilman Coyle, second by Council Vice President Harris. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes, in anticipation of getting the answer.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. Resolution 430, Councilwoman Schiff Freeman?
I'm just curious about where, the map, the frontage, this is not the one by US 1 where the, what is it, I guess you call them parking lots, because you got so many car dealerships on there. Is that the place in between there, or no?
Next shop?
No, this is the snack shop
Yeah.
right near between Grandview and Amboy. This was actually already approved by the council, but
Yeah.
because of the tax lot numbers being modified, the past resolution had all the other tax numbers on it.
Yes.
This is pretty much just updating it so that it's equal to what the tax map currently shows.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Okay,
Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, can I get a motion on the resolution?
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Motion by Council Vice President Harris, second by Councilman Patel. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. Resolution 448, Councilman Coyle.
Council President, let me make sure this is for the splash park.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to thank the support of the council here and everybody working hard to believe that splash parks are important and it's a fundamental value for our youth and creates so many great opportunities and health benefits. Again, we're one of the first, and it's happening here in Edison. My colleague Joyce Ship Freeman also put her time in, and collectively together, we were always for splash parks and improving our recreation here. So I am so looking forward to hope this council will vote yes for this. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Coyle. Councilman Brescher?
President? Yes, I want to notice, Joyce Ship brought up that she believed the number was 5 million, but I believe that we were originally planning on 2 splash parks. They were going to do one at the north side and one at the south side. The numbers just came in a little bit higher, but, you know, over time, I guess that happens. So I assume we still probably have the money in there for the other splash park. Thank you.
Council
Thank you.
Council
Yes,
President,
Councilwoman
I
Schifrin.
just don't want it to be some little small itty bitty thing. I want it to be big enough, you know what I mean, that we know it's a splash park. So, you know, because it's, you know, a great idea, but I've seen some little ones and they were like kind of small. So, you know, I just want a nice, you know, I looked at the nicer ones like in Piscataway and other places. You know, I travel around a lot because I got time and all to go to those places. So, and I know, I seen the one in Carteret, that's cute, but it's small. So I'm just trying to make sure, you know, I don't want it back, all these kids to be there and it be limited amount of stuff that they could use at that time. But like I said before, I'm very happy to start on this endeavor, this great thing of getting a splash park. I'm very happy with that.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Patel.
I just want to say thank you, Councilwoman Joyce, for pushing for this, and it's a start, and I hope we can continue to build on this success. I know my daughter will personally love this because I've seen a bunch of pictures of her playing with water all day. So, yes, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Councilman Patil?
Council President, again, I'm happy to see this on agenda. Unique addition to our facility, recreation facility. Again, thank you, Councilman, for constant push, constant reminders, and finally here we say the day that we are approving this. And hopefully, as I said, like, you know, hopefully it will be open in fall, and residents will enjoy. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other questions or comments? For myself, I do hope that the council does support this. I think that is another great recreational opportunity for the residents of Edison. While many of the focus is on the children, I'm sure there will be also adults that will enjoy the facilities as well. And I believe, Councilman Patel, you had mentioned earlier, it would be nice to have restrooms closer to the lake. So I do look forward, hopefully, to these improvements. At this point, can I get a motion on the resolution?
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Motion by Council Vice President Harris, second by Councilman Coyle. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Pointer.
Yes, motion passes. Resolution 449, Councilman Brescher.
Yes. This is the sports building that we anticipated spending $5 million. And, I mean, I felt that was a little high at that time. When the numbers came in at $10 million, I believe that we I think the administration needs a professional construction manager, somebody to help guide them. And the reason why I say that is I'm not in favor of voting for a $10 million building for the Jets field here. I believe that they could have the facility. They could have the same building. They could do exactly what they want to do if the administration were to have pared back on some of the architectural features that do not do anything for the children. They don't give them anything. It's just part of an architectural feature. There's a geothermal aspect to this that does the administration know what the geothermal aspect of this building costs? Because I would like to guess that cost increased it by $1 million. And I don't personally believe that the residents of Edison need to spend the additional money. I think our children deserve to have everything that they should have, okay? All the things we want. The part that was disturbing to me was that we took money out of other available funds. So currently at this time, I don't know that we're taking money away that could have been used for basketball courts in all of our parks for all of our children. But having someone like a construction manager that could go through and actually, guide the administration. If the administration at that time says, listen, we are so environmentally friendly, we only want to do geothermal, well, then, God bless them, and they can explain that to the public that they want to spend, millions of dollars more. But where I was going was for $5 million, you can get the same facility and you could have it built. I don't think that we need to have a Ferrari, and I think that's what we're building here. And it's all about the look, the show. It's not about the use. This is $5 million over the use that I feel we need. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments?
Council President,
Yes,
Again,
Councilman Coyle.
I just mark another first ever opportunity. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman
Council,
Coyle.
okay, Council President.
Yes, Councilwoman Sher Freeman.
I heard him down there, but I think that our problem is, because I was a cheerleading coach outside in the rain, the snow, the ice and everything. So if I seem a little partial to this, that's probably why I am. Because, we need to have places in Edison, just like, we need to have like good places, because, I've seen where a lightning struck someone out in the field. So when the lightning and stuff comes up, we need some place for our kids to run to, even if it's just for safety's sake, And I like the fact that I'm hoping that this is going to be a multi-purpose building, not just, well, it usually turns that way. We usually start off saying it's this and this, and then everybody else starts encroaching on other people's stuff. But, as far as I'm concerned, I think it's well spent for the youth of our town.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sher Freeman. Councilman, Patil.
Thank you, Council President. Again, this is one of the, great initiative. We don't have the sport building in this town. When Mayor Lanke was in office, in fact, I was asking him to build a stadium. But this is the beginning. At least we'll have the sport building, and hopefully in future, we'll have enough capital money to probably look at the public-private partnership to build the stadium. But I'm happy to support this project. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Patil. Councilman Patel.
So I'm not a construction expert, and I will not pretend to be, but I do know that there was an inflation, so there is a price increase for that. We have to use legally the lowest bidder. So the question really becomes, do we want this or not? And I hope we can all agree that we do want this for our kids. We do want it for our residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Patel. Any other comments? For myself, I believe that this is a great opportunity for the Township of Edison. Us having a sports building will be absolutely beneficial. And again, it's not just something for the kids, but something that the adults will use In regards to the overall cost, yes, it is a bit higher than expected. However, going back to my initial statement on return on investment, I think long-term, this will have many benefits to the township of Edison, not just within locally, but also having, whether it's sport tournaments. We talk about, cheerleading and football and lacrosse, but there are many other opportunities where this building can be used. For myself, I used to train, for instance, in jujitsu. So having an open enough area that allows for mats in a bigger format will actually be very conducive for that type of training. And likewise, the name of the sport is escaping me, but we did the resolution of recognition a month and a half, 2 months ago. I would imagine that sorry, it's escaping me, but I feel like they would also be interested in a facility like this. So long-term, I think that it is a great investment for the township of Edison. When you look at the improvements that are happening along at Papiani Park and Central Avenue going towards the Edison train station, it's really going to help revitalize the area, and I look forward to supporting this. Any other comments? Seeing none, can I get a motion on the
Motion to
resolution?
approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Patil, second by Council Vice President Harris. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
Abstain.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. At this time, we'll open up to the public for oral petitions and remarks, starting from the list. Mr. Sykes.
Thank you. I just have a couple of quick points to make. I think the Splash Park is a terrific idea. The pricing to build a splash park seems reasonable there. I assume there are a couple of bids, competitive bids there. The question regarding this is, Splash Park is almost like a boating season, okay? June through early September. Can some adaptation be made that the Splash Park could be used for other activities in the fall and the spring, so it's not just limited to June through September? Can they do a couple of additions or something on it to have better utilization of the Splash Park? Okay?
Do you have any other questions? I don't want to interrupt your time. If you have other questions, we can answer
Just
at the end.
quickly, yeah. The other question, I still didn't get any answers as to what is going on with the master plan for the cable and the broadband. And will that be under the cable committee, or it seems to be doing separate? And why can't we have Optimum and Comcast come in and we sit down and have an open session with them and see if we could put together a better package? I understand the future on it. And the other point that I had asked before is, why hasn't anybody shown where broadband has been successful? Okay? I've done a lot of homework on this, and broadband has not been successful in, I think you could count on two hands in the United States where broadband has been successful. And before we go spending any money on it, we should look into it. And we could use the money for other things, for recreation, the seniors, for roads. There's potholes all over the place, the sidewalks, and all of the things that were brought up on the other things on the council. So those are my two questions on, and I'd like to get an answer on that. If not now, later, I'd be happy to meet with any of you or get on a committee and, expand it and explore it more. Thank you.
Thank you. In regards to the splash park, I'm not sure if the exact So the layout of it is essentially a light bulb, right? The surrounding area is still going to have your standard grass that's still out there. Where the actual pads are, I'm not sure if that would be usable in the off-season. Sorry, Councilwoman.
Council President, it would have bathrooms and all that outside, but not just the splash park. All sports are seasonal. The majority of sports are seasonal. And like the weather, like Councilman Patel said, like the weather, we might be doing May to November, the way it's been going lately. So it might be just a couple of months that we do not service that part. But I'm just saying, as far as sports go and as far as activities go, just like even with the cheerleaders, their time is like from August to maybe the end of November. Like all things are seasonal, not just the splash park. All sports are seasonal. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councilman Patel.
Yes. So this is going to be an answer from a generated AI. So it might not be accurate because they have a tendency to hallucinate. But as of May 2020, there are 331 municipal broadband networks in the United States. According to the American Association of Public Broadband, there are currently more than 750 municipal broadband networks in the U.S. The development of these programs is relatively recent, which is what we are doing now. We are starting to build out within the last decade, seeing their primary push so far. So that would be my answer to that. Thank you.
Thank you. And yes, specifically, master plan for cable and broadband, I know that's mentioned in the master plan, but I think they're technically two separate issues, the master plan being for the overall township guidance, and I think you might be referencing something slightly more specific towards the, for broadband. I think I know what you're getting at, but the master plan in and of itself wouldn't go in that type of detail on broadband, if that makes sense. And in regards to having Optimum and Comcast, in my viewpoint, is an infrastructure item where the initial construction is of the server hubs. In the study, it recommends 2 locations, and from there, you build out. I do not believe that first, that the funding would be used to utilize for those hubs. Second, I don't believe the intention is to build out the entire infrastructure all at once. It's building it out little by little as the subscriber base improves. I don't believe the intention is to be the ISP, the internet service provider. It would be just for the ownership of the infrastructure, which I believe is a big difference with what other municipalities may have done. Now, if the number that Councilman Patel mentioned of 331 is accurate, there's probably many different types of operations up and going in terms of setup. So I hope that helps address some of it. Next on the list is Mr. Orchid.
Maria Orchid, 83 Jefferson.
Thank you.
Thank you. On Saturday, July 29th, weather permitting, we'll be at Silver Lake. We need volunteers. Looking forward to seeing everybody there. We're going to be doing the pollinator garden as well as pulling the invasive weeds. On Tuesday, August 1st, National Night Out here at Lake Papiani. Looking forward to seeing everyone. It's a wonderful event to come out and meet the community. August 26th, the house music is a very festive event. Looking forward to seeing everyone. Questions? How are we doing with the crossing guards? That was a big point of contention. There's been some complaints about the road work, the way they're being left in disrepair, inadequate coverage of holes in the roads as a safety hazard. Also, checking on our stormwater preparedness. That last storm last weekend, I was shocked to see the water coming out from underneath the sewers. How's the Deer Study Committee going? Master plan update? Any committee on our public advocate? And last, checking on the update on the official list. Thank you.
Thank you. To our business administrator, is there an update on the crossing guard situation?
The bid opening is August 1st.
Thank you. Any, I guess, how are we with the road repaving and to the issue brought up about holes in the new paving and possible disrepair?
If I could get more specific areas, I'd certainly like to address them.
All right. Deer Study Committee, we are attempting to coordinate with one of the state officials to discuss with her options from the state side. That way, when we meet as a committee, we would have information from the state, the county, other local municipalities, and brainstorm there. So we're still trying to coordinate a meeting with the state representative. It asked about stormwater preparedness. I don't know if there's any comment the administration would like to. I think it is just in general about stormwater management, right? Which I know Councilman Patil has been a big advocate on. And I think that's the intention for us to address those issues.
And I just like to also point out, Yolanda Drive, which was one of the issues that we had discussed, that's actually out to bid, and mid-August is the bid opening for the proposals. So we are moving ahead with some of these drainage issues.
Thank you. Councilwoman Mr. Freeman, do you want to give an update on the master plan?
Oh, okay. With that, when she was talking about that, I said tomorrow night, I got to remind the people to get their boats out again because it's going to be a torrential storm tomorrow evening. It's coming out like that. But on the master plan, it still isn't all the way up for the planning board. He has a committee, the president of the planning board, Lenny Sendelsky, he has a committee that's working on different things, and they're looking through it and finding out extra questions and stuff. So they are more so experts than I am in that field. And also, I'm going to wait to see, which direction we're going to move in next for us to get the plan together. And I'm hoping that a lot of the things that we would like to happen within the next 10 years, I hope that we follow it as a blueprint and actually move forward with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Brescher, is there an update on the Public Advocate Committee?
Yes, we received some correspondence from the attorney. Technically, he doesn't agree with what we put together. So we were talking about having him come to our meeting so we could talk to him about that. The idea is to get something passed. Whether it does get passed or not, it might be that it would be something that we could pass, but then maybe the mayor would never appoint someone to the position. But that we do need to move forward with. And I think we're at a point where we're going to see if our attorney can come to the one meeting where we could discuss it with everybody on the committee.
Thank you. And in regards to the officials list, I don't know if there's any update required. I know, and I explained this before, that some of the appointments, even if they are not reappointed, they carry over until there is a replacement. I believe right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's why some of the appointments have an expired term, but until they are officially reappointed and/or replaced, they would maintain on the list, which I know gets a little confusing. I think that addresses.
Council President, is she only talking about committees? Only committees? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I think that answers all the questions you had asked. We are off the list. Anyone from the in attendance that would like to speak? Yes.
Do I have to identify myself again? Ellen Arthur, Michelle Circle.
I appreciate the courtesy.
This is just a comment that, with regard to the master plan. And I think that something really needs to be considered in terms of the process. Needs to be put in place for the reviewing of the budget in the years forthcoming, that there be a new process put in place where you as a group of representatives of the community would have opportunity to sit down together, not just to review what's presented, but be a part of that whole process. Because I didn't see anything on TV about the meeting that you had on Tuesday, and I was away. So it's difficult for the public or the community to have an opinion about anything when you don't even know what you're talking about, you know. We haven't had the opportunity as you to look at what's going on in terms of the monies that's being spent and allocated for various things in this town. Okay, my other issue was, yes, there's been some wonderful strides made, granted, but there were also promises made. People committed to do certain things when they were elected. So there's a level of expectation. So let us not pat ourselves on the back so much that we've made such great accomplishments. You know, there's an expectation. People vote you in to perform. And no one is discrediting anything that has been done. But we have to realize, too, we have a whole town that you have input in what goes on in this town, a great input. And people elect you because they feel that you have the people at heart. And that was my other issue. I'm still concerned about the services with the senior citizens. I think that program needs to be revisited and to be inclusive of all senior residents. And I'm going to beat this horse till it come alive. All senior residents in this town have the opportunity to be serviced with programs, different activities that they can come to. And this whole group or club mentality needs to be thrown in the Hudson River. Okay? And great campaign speeches were made here tonight, you know, and it's just, we are in process of making strides. We are in process of moving forward. But you got a long, long way to go.
Thank you.
Am I able to make a comment on, or
I-
is this?
I've set the guideline in regards to specific questions, but I will definitely open it up after if there's, for council comment. That's okay. I appreciate the patience and understanding. Anyone else in attendance that would like to speak? Seeing none, can I get a motion to close the public
Motion to
portion?
close the public portion?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The public portion is now closed. Council comment, Councilwoman Schifrin. Oh,
I just want.
Council Vice President Harris.
Thank you,
Sorry.
it's okay. I just wanted to respond to Eleanor, and, you know, I share your frustration about the master plan meeting not having been broadcast. This goes into the larger issue of the planning board, and this is something that we had advocated for. We were able to successfully get a partnership with the zoning board to be broadcasting their meetings, but the planning board has not agreed to do so, and I think this is just as important as anything else. The public deserves to know what's going on, and what happened with the master plan broadcast was that it was put on YouTube, but not until about a week or so, I believe, about a week or so after that particular meeting. It was not available for quite some time. I'm sorry? No, no.
Council President, did you say the budget or did you say the master plan?
Just, I don't want to go back and forth on.
That's what I thought you was talking about the budget and it not being transparent that way. Okay.
Maintain.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go back and forth, but I needed the clarity of that particular point because I am with the master plan committee and I haven't missed the meeting And I even came extra time with the planning board, so I just wanted it to be clarified that
Point of order, please.
it's that. it's that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry, Council.
No,
Vice
that's,
President.
that's fine. But no, but I'm just responding to the part about being able to be more aware of what's going on in real time. And so I want to tell you that I appreciate your concern about that, and I appreciate your comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Councilman Patil?
Thank you, Council President. Just want to acknowledge our new Edison Democratic Party Chair, Mr. Bimal Joshi. Congratulations, sir.
Any other?
Yes.
Yes, Councilman Brescher.
Just one comment. The budget presentation wasn't like online, but the mayor did say at that presentation that he was going to open up a senior facility on the north side now. I believe it was New Dover Road that he said that he was going to put that. So it looks like the administration is going to start expanding programs to the seniors, which would be a good thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council
Councilman Coyle?
President, I just want to clarify that the budget is posted online prior to us voting for the budget. It's a printed copy you can get at the clerk's office, but it's all online and available for anybody. And not every town does a budget presentation. It's not mandatory, it's not part of, it's just an option a mayor chooses to do, to be here and present. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Coyle. Any other? Yes.
Council
Councilwoman
President,
Shavit.
it's just a form of transparency and the part that seniors should not have to go looking all over to fish around to see when they can find the budget presentation back and forth. And I know I'm a stickler for that also, for the actual senior programs, because I can't wait till the new building is built. And I've gotten complaints from people from the north side and information, and they would like to get rides to come down here to come to this particular building, this particular program. And they told me that once the health director got in place, that there would be some more stuff that would be going on. But they said it because they, hired the health director. So at any time whatsoever, you can go over there to the building on Woodbridge Avenue and ask your questions and information and get a readout of what the actual happenings are for the seniors here in Edison. Because prior to now, we used to have bus rides to New York. They used to have different places they used to take seniors. They had like a more robust type of program they had. So people, old timers who have been in here, I know everybody's the AI and all that, but we've been here for like back when they were like was nothing but woods here. Okay, so we've been here that long. So that's what we're talking about. So we know the changes in the direction in which we need to go in. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And just to piggyback off of the senior services, it was mentioned at the budget presentation, as Councilman Brescher mentioned, about the opportunity off of New Dover. And it wasn't mentioned because it wasn't broken out separately, but one of the items in this, the consent agenda was actually for the purchase of 2 more senior buses. So hopefully that would help address some of the transportation issues that, that seniors face. But to your point, that's just a stepping stone. It's not a completed list. So, thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Councilman Patil, second by Council Vice President Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting stands adjourned.